There he is.
Come on in, Greg. Have a seat.
Sorry, I got talking to Rick.
I'm doing my clinic in an hour. You come and see me. You'll never learn anything from me.
Get out
Take
of here.
care.
Get out of here.
All right.
Awesome.
Getting a bunch of really cool faces in the booth today. This is awesome. Welcome back to the Roadkill Drums Podcast.
Are we having fun?
I'm gonna bang a drum.
Oh shit, I died. Let me know.
Awesome. Speaking of which, welcome to the Roadkill Podcast. My name is Laurel. We've got Mark Roadkill of Roadkill Custom Drums on the other end here. And today we are joined by Jim of Dixon Drums and Gregg Bissonette you're currently performing with the Ringo Starr's All-Star Band, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Great
Oh.
to be here. What a great show, huh?
Thank you. We're having fun. Dude, it's been so crazy. It's so many cool drums. Have you seen on the corner there? There's these guys that have a pneumatic drum tuning system. It is so cool.
Tuned with inner tubes,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I love it.
They laid
But
these tubes on the inside of the rim. They're going to be on the show later, so I'll explain this again. But they laid these tubes on the inside of the rim,
And they
put the head
turn
on
the
top.
shell. The woman turns the shell in the Instagram.
No.
It's-
Is she on the Instagram?
Yeah,
I'm not
they,
sure.
they
she's on the
posted
Instagram.
something last night, I think.
No, this has actually the timpani pedals.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
Yeah, you're good. There's a
This
lot
one
here.
They have timpani pedals, so you can actually tune the drum as you're playing, just like a timpani.
Oh yeah,
Isn't that wild?
And it does a whole kit at once.
Wow.
It's crazy, but it's like I'm an engineer, so this stuff amazes me.
Yeah.
keep innovating.
And
Right.
it's really cool stuff. I want to see where it goes. But anyway, let's
Yeah.
get back to this stuff.
Yeah, we'll get back to this. So, gentlemen, welcome. I frankly, there's so much to talk about here. I'm not even
Oh, yeah.
sure where to start. So, Jim, let's start with you.
Sure.
You're with Dixon Drums now. Did you start Dixon Drums or?
No, Dixon Drums is actually, I would say in the U.S. it's been around for maybe 25 years.
Okay.
It's based in Taiwan, and St. Louis Music, which is my employer.
Gotcha.
So it's a wholesale distributor. We provide
Gotcha, okay.
everything from guitar picks to cellos to
Wow.
retailers, around the country.
Yeah.
So one of our brands is exclusively Dixon Drums.
Okay.
So when we brought it in about 14 years ago, it was known, but it wasn't established.
Yeah.
And so that's been my job for the last 14 years to not only bring it credibility
Okay.
and make it really interesting, which I believe we've achieved based on the reaction here at the show.
Well, yeah, you
But
guys get lots of attention.
a big part of it was the validation was Gregg coming aboard 10 years ago.
Wow.
Has it been
And-
that long already?
Almost 11.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
And the cool thing was at that time, because we're full line drums, we need to be taken seriously anywhere from the beginner to the band director. And who better to represent that is the ultimate, the most versatile drummer in the world, but Gregg.
One of the world's drummers. And then Jim and Sam and Jerry and everybody said, hey, we want you to have not one, but 3 signature snare drums.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jim, tell them about my snare drum.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In fact, that was all kind of part of the process because Gregg came over because he identified Dixon as being sort of a project, something new and fresh that he could be involved in.
Yeah.
And Maple Drums was a big
Maple
part of
Drum.
that,
Yeah.
which is our elite level called Artisan.
Yeah.
And then we developed things that were specifically Gregg, but again very versatile and relevant to any drummer. And so he has 3 signature snare drums, 2 of which are metal, and both 6.5 by 14, which is nothing uncommon.
Yeah.
But one is a steel and one is a hammered brass. So basically, Gregg can walk into any session and cover really any sound with either of those drums.
Wow, that's cool.
And then recently,
Can I start here?
You can start there.
Jim hears me talking about my dad all the time. And last night, at the end of the show, seeing Max and Jay Weinberg and the father-son bonding, I got kind of teary-eyed, and I told these guys, it reminds me of my dad and I. My dad was my drum inspiration. He was my drum tech for 18 years in L.A.
Oh, wow.
And he was a big guy like a linebacker or a fullback. And, but everybody loved him. Everybody just helped him carry the drums in. And his name was Bud. And he was a big guy. So Jim said, I have an idea. You have been talking about this 8-inch drum where you can replicate the 70s sounds. You can do the Eagles, ELO, but also a lot of new tracks like Harry Styles has that really low snare drum. I don't know, really low. And it's 8 inches and it's walnut. It's got the large snare strainer and the dual adjustable butt plates. And haven't you always wanted a dual adjustable butt plate?
I have some. Actually, yes.
Anyway, it's a bad joke.
I picked up on it. I watched you try to figure out if it was a joke.
Oh, now
or
y'all
not.
fucking with me.
Oh,
It's
man.
like, pick somebody that ain't so slow next time.
So Jim says,
I appreciate that. That was good.
so Jim says, why don't we call it the Big Bud?
Okay.
The Big Bud. And we're playing on one today at the Dixon booth. So,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
I'm
It's
just
doing
thinking
great.
reggae now.
And that filled that spectrum. So it goes deeper and fatter than the steel drums. So
Yeah, that's right.
And I think we've got a nice trio there.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
the hardware, I mean, not just one of the things that I was really looking for was a company that had thin maple shells and great hardware, great edges, projection. And Jim said, I was recommended to Jim by a name that you guys might know, John DeChristopher. Remember John? Johnny D?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny D.
Yeah.
So Johnny D said, man, I know what you're looking for, and you got to meet Jim Uding. He's one of us. Heart of gold, knows the drum industry inside out, used to own drum headquarters in St. Louis.
Wow.
And he's the product manager, and we just became fast friends, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I was actually about to touch on that, like what got you into the drum world to begin with. Like that's always a cool fact to me. Yeah.
Oh, 5th grade.
There you go. Band. Okay.
Yeah, you go to the band night and there's the acrylite Ludwig snare kit. It's like that's me. That's for me.
Yeah.
And then, interestingly enough, and I won't go into my whole story.
You don't have to.
But I was in a small town, and I love this story. It kind of dates me. Is my dad takes me in because I had my first drum set and I needed drum heads.
Yeah.
And we walked in, and he tells the owner, he said, "We need some new drum heads." We need some new drum heads. And he goes, oh, great. Well, there's this new drum head out by Remo called Pinstripe.
Okay.
And it's like, that's when it started. So that kind of dates me.
On the snare drum, the pinstripe head, or on all the toms?
The whole kit.
Yeah, the whole
and,
kit.
And then before I left, he asked me if I wanted a part-time job. And this was when I was 16. I've been in the music business ever since. Wow. And that was the last time I paid regular price for anything.
you
makes
found
it
the
nice,
sweet
too.
spot right there.
I mean, I'm a dealer and I still pay regular price on a lot of stuff. I'm like,
And what about drum headquarters? How'd you get into that?
So after high school, I moved to St. Louis and I started at a shop called Drum Headquarters, which also operated as HQ Percussion Products, which was all the real field practice pads.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
I've got some.
Yeah, everybody does. And it's probably a little crusty too on top. But no, we built that, that drum shop community for 30 years.
Yeah.
Which was completely awesome. The shop doesn't exist anymore, but I moved straight into brand management for the last 14 years. So I was able to now work on the other side of the industry and then work with some great people like Gregg.
That's
One
awesome.
of the most fun things Jim ever asked me was, look, as a global ambassador for Dixon and part of the team, we need your input so we get to think tank and come up with who would be the perfect artists for Dixon. And Jim asked me, do you know anybody who's an unbelievable drummer and a really great personality who's really big on social media and like blows up YouTube? I said, there's one guy. Who is that guy?
Zach Cruz.
Tell him about Zach Cruz.
Well, yeah, I remember one Saturday, the phone rings and it's Gregg. So I never know what to expect when Gregg's calling. Hey, Jim, man, my students start talking about this guy, Zach Cruz.
Do I talk like that? I guess I do.
Yes.
I need a small speckle of
That's a
honey.
great impression.
Keep going.
So
Hey, Jim.
I said, yeah, and we'd been kind of, had our eyes open for a YouTuber.
Yeah.
But we were looking for longevity. I call it full package when we find an artist. I like teachers. I like little education, personality, vision, and in Gregg and Zach's case, he was a dude. He was, as he said, I'm just a goof.
But he's an amazing drummer.
But the thing is what we saw is he was, I call it spoonful of sugar. He was teaching his followers while he was giving them what. So, and then Gregg dug a little deeper and realized that Zach's ambitions were being a professional musician. And now he has his own band called Everything Yes. And he's kind of transitioning, but he's taking that following with him to support his band and his professional career.
That's awesome.
And then to find a couple other guys, Jerry Gaskill from King's X and Stan Lynch from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Wow. All right.
And then
John Mader,
Tony Pia from the Doobie Brothers,
Jules Rodino.
Yeah. So we got a pretty darn fun roster.
Yeah,
Pretty solid.
You're amassing quite the arsenal here. That's awesome.
And it to me, to your listeners out there, a couple of tips there is that endorsements is a whole different thing now for a manufacturer. It used to be everything because you needed to throw that mud at the wall and have all that live music exposure to bring. Now social media takes care of that. In fact, there was a time where the artist needed the brand for the exposure.
Yeah.
You don't
now
need
the
us
brand
anymore.
needs the artist. It's completely flipped.
So that makes us more selective. And then there's the other part is you have to
I got to interrupt, and your selectiveness paid off because you got the best one in the business.
To me,
one of the world's drummers.
To me, we're plugging holes. Because to me, we want everybody to be Dixon players, but there really isn't a reason to be an artist.
Yeah.
And being an artist isn't going to do anything for your career. It's just going to do something for your pride.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do is be well-rounded, build your brand, and if at that time we have a hole where we need to have that represented, and being a full-line brand, we need different people that consumers can identify with, and then it trickles down to the brand. So that's the point, is just be patient, because if you're doing the right thing, someone's going to find you.
Yeah.
And I often want to just tell people that this is a great way to do that.
It's great being that way, because this whole trip has kind of felt that way. Just things have been falling in place. The people that I've run into and the response I'm getting has been outstanding, and you guys too.
Thank you.
Which I'd like to take this moment to announce to the world that I'm really thinking we're going to be working closely together here in the future.
I think business is happening. Good.
Oh, good. I'm sorry. I was slow in picking up on that one.
There's a lot of noise going on.
It was serious. It wasn't a joke.
But I'm going to circle back and say I think that's one reason why Dixon is making steady progress in an acoustic drum category that's a little stalled.
Yeah. And
it's because we bring a little of that passion and genuine interest in the drummer that it's passed over through the 80s and 90s, that passes through my drum shop experience, Gregg's experience, and we hope that comes through. And the beauty is on the other end of that are some great drums.
Well, no, and you're exactly right. Like I'm the producer of this show. I'm not really a drummer. I can hold a beat. Mark's seen me do it, but I'm not. I'm more on this side of like the camera and the recording equipment. That's what I do. And I follow a lot of these guys on social media to kind of learn what they're doing and how we can help grow what we're doing. And there's a young man out there who has a channel called Seth Drums, and he usually does like goofy videos where he plays with somebody like screwed with the song and made it either hilarious or weird or maybe even super fun, and he'll play along with it. Usually he breaks down laughing halfway through it because it's hilarious. Like they did Roxanne by the Police, but it's just rocks. So they muted all the vocals except for the word rocks. And he's trying to play with it. It's just hilarious. But I've noticed in the comments, the majority of people who are commenting, especially musicians, they're curious about what he's playing. What's that snare? Or what's that head? That looks interesting. And they're asking about those things. Meanwhile, the average viewer is going, that was funny. I love that song. But the drummers want to know what they're playing, and that's where the exposure is really coming from, is through the social media side.
And you have a great point there, is that, remember, drums go back to the caveman.
Oh, yeah, oldest instrument on the planet.
Yeah, it's
man had to find something else to beat on.
You're bored.
I'm doing a caveman event tomorrow at Drummer's Den in Murfreesboro. David and his wonderful wife, Evelyn, we're going to do a caveman event. We got a drum shop filled to the brim with drummers, hands-on, what they call a brick and mortar event, not social media, and they can come up and they can touch the drums. They can bang on the drums. They can ask questions. We can talk and have fun, play music. But to me, I love social media, and the world is a better place because of it, I think, if used in the right way. But the event that we're doing tomorrow, that's how I got into playing drums. My first drum clinic was Alan Dawson as a kid in Detroit, and then Roy Burns, and then Ed Shaughnessy, then Peter Erskine.
Yeah.
And I would go home and I would pray, like 12 years old, God, help me be a drummer that can go around the world and have other drummers know who I am. And in 2 weeks, we're going to Manila, Kuala Lumpur, all through Taiwan, the Philippines, doing drum clinics. And because of social media, people know who you are, but then you've got them in brick and mortar, and they can touch the drums, they can touch the cymbals, they can play.
You're touching on something really. We sat down yesterday with Karen over here at Frame Drum Wisdom, and it's all about getting into back to the raw acoustic, the feeling of the vibrations and the feeling of the drum themselves. And that's why it's important. Like, social media is a great way to connect people to things, but you got to go play an actual drum. You got to get the sense of the feel of it.
It's where the art is.
It's where the art is, and it's important. It's important to do that, and I think you're touching on that, and you're out there living it and experiencing it. It's a great thing to hear.
Well, it's kind of like Ringo. Ringo turned 85 last Monday. We had a really great birthday party
Happy
for
birthday,
him.
Ringo.
Happy birthday, Ringo. Peace and love. But he
I
doesn't.
stopped at noon and did my peace and love.
At noon, everywhere, wherever you are.
Everywhere in the world. Peace
Even
and
outer
love.
space. But Ringo doesn't tour because he needs the money. He tours because he loves to play the drums. He loves to see people with Sgt. Pepper suits and yellow submarines, tears of joy, and he gives love to the crowd, and they give love back. And that's a drug you can't replicate.
Yeah.
So I got to ask that question.
Come on.
How does it feel being the drummer for the drummer?
Well, I always tell people he's the alpha dog. He's the reason my dad and Ringo are the reason I play the drums. And when I look over and he's sitting right there, I'm trying to match his backbeat, looking at his bass drum. I got a clear view. When Ringo plays verses, he hits in the middle of the snare. I didn't know this till I played with him since 2003. When he goes to the chorus, he's hitting rim shots. Then when he plays the verse, he goes back to the middle of the drum. When he plays the chorus, he goes to the bell of the cymbal. Then back. I'm learning so many musical things from him, even though he never took lessons, doesn't read music. And he said, why are you warming up? I don't warm up. He never sat on the drums by himself to just play a beat. He only played when other people were playing with him.
Yeah.
I said, how is that possible? He said, because we're designed to play with other people, not sit in a room and make a post and play with some music in your headphones. Play with other humans, other human beings, a bass player with a pulse, a guitar player, a singer. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
At home, I'm a big proponent for the open jam nights.
Yeah.
For you,
Not
Mark.
the open mic nights, because I
Open
don't
jam.
want to hear some guitar. I mean, I do, but I don't want to hear a guitarist up there trying to.
Well, and touching on what I think you're trying to get at. Like, I've been around the world. My parents were military. I've grown up traveling all over the place. And there's open jams everywhere, but I will say that down in Polk County, Florida, where we're based out of, has some of the most welcoming open jams I've ever been to. Most open jams, I feel like you would walk up and say, "Hey, I'd like to play," and they kind of go, "Yeah, who are you? What can you do?" You come down to Florida and you come to one of the jams in the area, and they're everywhere. It is the bread and butter.
They don't ask how many followers you have.
They don't care. They're just like, yeah, let's throw you up. And if you're struggling, they will help you through it, and they'll work together. It's a very welcoming area.
And you also have no state income tax. I live in California.
Yeah, you're not kidding there. But I was going to say, if you guys are ever down in Florida, please come visit. We would love to take you out.
Where exactly is it?
So it's
We're
in Polk County, Florida.
Yeah, right outside of Winter Haven is where my shop is.
So right outside of Orlando.
Oh.
Right outside of Orlando.
Between Orlando, Tampa. So
It's
it's
not a
good
Mickey
location.
Mouse town, I'll tell you.
No.
We're away from that. We're in the Grady Judd town.
Yeah, Grady. Yeah, Sheriff Grady Judd is that's kind of what we're mostly known for. But there's we'd love to have you guys come down and jam with us and just
Is
have
there a
fun.
local drum shop that we can
Yes.
do a drum clinic at?
We've got 3 buildings on his property
Roadkill
full to the
Custom Drums.
roof.
What would be the name of that company?
Roadkill Custom Drums, man.
Tell us about the shop.
It's small.
We like small.
Most of my sales are online because I refuse to. You can't have a brick and mortar place and make a profit anymore with today's economy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Ask Pro Drum in Hollywood.
Well, some can, but it's hard. And I've been in business before. My thing is I'm never going back in that.
You're not going to do it.
And honestly, doing it from, because it's all built out of his house. He's got 3 buildings on his property, and they're all drum related.
On your property?
Yeah.
Where
He's
you
got
live?
3 buildings.
Dundee, Florida.
Can we do a social media clinic from your store?
Oh,
Yeah,
we do our podcast
absolutely.
from there.
One of the buildings is the studio, and it's where we film this on a weekly basis.
Could that be like a clinic?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can absolutely do that. Yeah, but I think one of the
And we do have another. I'm going to shout out to Carlton Music.
Yeah.
They're in Winter Haven and Lakeland, Florida. Been around since 1967, so they're as old as I am.
I'm older.
Yeah, so they've been, more than they do. But
we
they've been
picking
around.
old off right
They've been
now?
around a long time. It's a great family-owned business. Still a great family-owned business. And it's like I don't want to try to step on their toes at all, except for I am, kind of on the drum side of it. But they really work on the guitars, bass, all the audio.
But here's what I was going to touch
and
on.
the
Like
school.
you're talking about doing a brick and mortar store, but having these clients and these people that are interested in the drums come to the house and see the drums set up on the rack, seeing your different collection, and coming to the house, I think it feels a lot more personable than a brick and mortar would ever feel.
Because
and
when
it's
you
kind of
come
your
in,
brand.
you're coming into my home, and when you do, it started as a starter home. Then it's my finish home, so it's
But
I've been there
it's
32
so much more.
years.
It's so much more welcoming and
And
inviting
it's
to come and see a drum
completely
in
custom.
somebody's home than it is necessarily on a
Sounds
showroom
like
floor.
a lot of fun.
And that's more of your brand, is that welcoming experience. When you have Bo run up, he's got a blue tick coonhound that comes up. His name's Bo. And when he comes up and says hi when you're coming to check out these drums, and he's the friendliest dog you'll ever meet, it's just, you feel more like I could see this kid in my house because I'm seeing it in a house. And we get that reaction a lot from folks that come by and see it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, you have to
I
have you
hope
guys
so.
come
I'd
down
love to
sometime.
get you down there.
Well, before we let you guys
I'm
go,
a really good cook, by the way.
before we let you guys go, I'd like to, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask a little bit about like getting to know and perform with Ringo. And if you have any crazy fun stories or interesting experiences you've had with Ringo that you'd like to share.
I have a lot. Mark, ask me. You're a Ringo guy. Ask me some questions about Ringo.
There you
and
go.
I got so many.
I got so many. Where do I start?
Well, just because I got so many things to say, I don't know.
Now
where to
I'm
start.
I'm under pressure too because I don't know what to ask.
Okay, I'll pretend that you asked me the question. Is Ringo really left-handed?
I was going to go left, actually.
Ringo's a lefty, right?
Yeah.
He's a lefty, but he plays on a right-handed kit.
Yeah.
And he leads with his left. And when Jim came to the show, Ringo was introduced to Jim. And we said, Ringo, we're thinking about doing for the next tour, instead of the Artisan Dixon Turquoise Sparkle, which isn't a wrap, it's lacquer. We're thinking of doing like a purple sparkle. And without missing a beat, he looked at a leaf on the table in catering. There was kind of a lavender. He says, that sounds great. Purple is energy. But instead of a light purple, like this plant, you should do deep purple, like the band.
There you go.
And so we call it Deep Purple Sparkle, like the band.
Yep.
He's so with it. He's so on it. He's 85 years young. He does 17 jumping jacks after the show, runs to the limo. The security's out of breath. And he's so sharp. He's really... So that was a good question, Mark. You got any other questions?
Thank you. I was actually, you went there because I was going to go, is he actually left-handed or because he plays open-handed a lot too?
He plays open-handed. For those
Yeah.
of you who don't know what open-handed might mean, you don't
Cross over.
Yeah, you don't cross over. You
Play wide, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
play
not
wide.
going like this. I'm going. I can't do it.
Well,
I'm
he
not
actually
left-handed.
does this because
He does that
he
too.
does it. Well, when he goes to the toms, that's open-handed. He'll lead left, even come together. He's starting with his left. What's your favorite Beatles song, Mark?
Oh God, I hate to admit it's Yellow Submarine
Why do you hate to admit that?
Why do you hate to
because
admit
it's more
that?
of a joke of a song
It's
than
not a
than
joke.
serious.
Whoa.
It's
not. It
he
was-
he was going through a tough time. Peter Sellers loaned him his yacht in Sardinia. He said, what's for lunch? And the guy said, fish. He thought it was going to be fish and chips. And they brought octopus. He says, I'm from Liverpool. We don't eat octopus. And the guy the boat captain starts telling him about how the octopus live on the bottom of the sea. And they gather little shiny things.
Yep.
And they have a little cave. And he said, it was the height of the Beatlemania, and he was just barraged, and he said, I'd like to be under the sea in an octopus's garden in the shade. They let us in, knows where we've been. And he says, I would be so happy, you and me. Let's sing a little bit of it. Ready?
Oh,
Come on, Mark.
I
One,
can't sing.
2, 3. In the town where I was born, lived a man who sailed the sea.
Yeah,
And
there we
he
go.
told us of his life in the land
We got
of
backup.
submarines. Everybody chorus, here we go. We all live in a yellow submarine. Hey, a yellow submarine.
A
Yellow submarine.
I need to
And the
stick-
band was all aboard. Every one of them lived next door. Here we go. We need you. And the band
Oh, Jay.
begins to play. Here we go. What a way to end the podcast.
Okay.
Jim, Greg, thank you so much for
And
joining us
live.
today.
Oh yeah,
And live.
And may I mention live? Greg plays the trumpet part
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really?
with
Well,
a
I have
yellow
a-
trumpet.
I have a trumpet, and Ringo said, can you paint it yellow? Well, Rust-Oleum makes a yellow.
Yeah.
So we spray painted it yellow, and then I'm playing, and he goes, can you stand up and do it? And I said, well, luckily for me, Ringo, that part of the song is only kick drum. And our friends, boom, boom, we're all aboard. Boom, boom, many more. Get the mic. Live next door.
Put the mic.
Here we, and the band begins to play kick drum. Here we go. Grab your sticks. So what a blast.
Wow, what a
So,
living
yeah,
record.
I love that song because I was a little kid when that came out.
yeah.
I mean, I can remember having that on a 45 and just over and over
And the Blue
over
Meanies and
over.
the cartoon with the Blue Meanies.
Yeah.
Remember the Yellow Submarine cartoon?
Yes.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you guys.
Cartoon
Thank you for
days.
taking the time to sit down with
Thank
us.
you, Greg. Thank you.
Let's do our in-the-house clinic.
Yeah, let's do it. Bring you
Let's
guys
do
down.
it.
We'll go out and do some jams and do the in-house clinic. Let's do it.
And maybe there'll be a house band.
Hey, there
House.
you go.
Maybe we'll play some house grooves.
There you go.
Thank
All right, guys,
also.
thank you so much. Have fun
All
at the
right.
show today. We'll see
Yeah.
you soon, all right?
I want to bang a drum.